Tonight we're launching our first workshop here at Carolina Family Spine Center, and tonight it's about launching into the new year and recovering from the holidays. So right off the bat, when we think about what the holidays bring, just going to ask you right out there, what do you think it is? Yes. Bang, right answer right there. So we're talking about how to recover from that, okay? So two things that we get from it right here, sleep and energy, okay? That goes along with stress, okay? If I told you that blank and energy come hand in hand, what's the blank? You just said it. Stress, exactly, bang on, okay? So what we're looking at tonight, the best way to recover from it, how to get more of it, how to wake up naturally without the alarm, and finally, feel energized to not need caffeine to get throughout your day, all right? So let's talk about sleep in society to begin with, okay? So 30% of the population has some sort of medically diagnosed sleeping disorder. Now here in society these days, we see this rounded nature when it comes to, medical sleep disorders. It can be everything thrown into the pot and everything comes under it. It's very similar to how the term IBS gets thrown out there, irritable bowel syndrome. It has everything thrown into that melting pot as well. So 30% of the population has something that is medically diagnosed, that it has a sleeping disorder. And 70% of the working age population at some time during the day will feel tired or will look for caffeinated beverages to get through it. So it's a pretty big sort of, epidemic, I guess, is the best way to describe it. So that's why it's something that we need to talk about with it all. And 78% of people are dependent on caffeine to keep them going through the day. I think we can all say it, me included, the fact that what I need to get through the day is caffeine, but also other things needed in order to stimulate us. So what is it, all right? We're talking about insomnia, all right? So insomnia is one of those big ones that sits in that realm of sleep disorders, okay? So it's a common sleep problem with a lot of adults. It's estimated that 30% of the general population has sleep disruption or impairment due to insomnia, most generally characterizing the ability to fall asleep or stay asleep, waking up out of that sleep cycle. Insomnia is not a sleep disorder in itself, but is related to symptoms of other problems causing disruptions in people's sleep, which you named it earlier, which is that S word again, which is, yes. You got it. All right. What brings on insomnia? So this is something that, as we said, insomnia is either the fact of it being present or, the fact that we cannot fall asleep or we cannot stay asleep. That's technically what insomnia is. And as you saw from the previous slide, 30% of the general population has got it. And then even so more is that 70% of the working population will feel tired. So if only 30% are actually being diagnosed with it, 70% of the working population is saying that they're tired anyway. So chances are they've got it too. So what brings it on? Physical situations such as medical conditions or medications. All right, we're going to get into that as well. Hormone imbalance, diet changes, work schedules, exercise or lack thereof, time zone changes, and psychological problems including stress, depression, all right, anxiety. So the big one that we can take out of this is the fact that a lot of us are going through these sort of things when it comes to diet changes, work schedules, exercise, and time zone changes. Maybe not so much that last one, but these three through here, diet, work, and exercise, three things that everybody goes through pretty much throughout the Initially, it's seen as a short-term problem, but can cause long-term health effects and conditions. All right, that's what insomnia can do. So these problems here are seen as short-term things. Oh, I haven't been sleeping well because work has been stressful. I haven't been sleeping well because of the fact of my diet I've had a lot of junk in my system. I haven't been able to sleep, because I've been getting up early in the morning to work out, or I'm having to go to the gym late at night, for instance. So they're all seen as these small little tidbits. I call them the little 1%ers. All the little 1%ers at the time don't seem like much, but 1%ers add up to 30%, and then 30% equals to 60%. By that time, you're already falling into the trap of feeling tired. All right. So the long-term effects of insomnia, this is actually really revealing in regards to it. Sleep apnea, breathing disruptions due to it. You've got hyperinsomnia, daytime sleeping. People are sleeping, they fall asleep during the day. They go have the nap at lunchtime, things like that. Parasomnia, the arousal of nightmares and sleepwalking is something that's pretty prevalent because of insomnia. The fact that we've got REM sleep disorders, so paralysis during REM sleep, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. What happens with REM sleep and happen with it and allowing us to act out of our dreams. Periodic limb movement, so you've ever heard of restless leg syndrome, twitching, things like that. It can be from a coffee stimulus, it can come from a medication, but it can have long-term effects on that insomnia to actually shake that mentally. Come from shift work disorders, so people that work in that third shift hour, trying to get their bodies to rebalance in regards to their hormones and things like that. So, and there's also comes narcolepsy, the full-on blown where it is you fall asleep at any drop of a hat, just like that. So, what do most people with insomnia or do with insomnia or lack of sleep? Okay, you got it. We either caffeinate it to stay awake or we medicate it to fall asleep. You've got it right there. So those are the two things that we do straight away. We always reach for the Red Bull, or we reach for the cup of coffee, or the fact that we medicate it. So it's either keep us alert or get us asleep. It's the two ends of the spectrum. And we're going to talk about why that's really important in a minute. So when we're trying to either hit the highest of highs with caffeination, hit the lowest of lows to try and sleep, it's going to throw all those systems off, and you'll see that in a minute. So the problems with prescription natural medicines, all right, when it comes down to it, you can fall asleep, but you don't get deep sleep. So in regards to it, you think of things like, for instance, melatonin or any anti-anxiety medicine or anything like that. What's happening is in your REM sleep is the fact that when you're hitting that period of full sleep in that cycle, in non-REM sleep, your heart rate drops. Body temperature decreases and the brain uses less energy. That helps you get to sleep, all right? Now, we're going to talk about REM sleep versus non-REM sleep in a minute. REM sleep is when you go into a dreamy sleep. It helps you get to the period of where you're going to have those night dreams, those peaceful dreams, those things you remember as you enter into a dream later on, halfway through the sleep. Because here's something for you. Do you ever remember the start of a dream? Yeah, everyone wakes up in the middle of the dream, right? You remember, you don't know how you got to the beach, but somehow in the dream you're at the beach, right? That's just where you're there. Exactly, right? Okay. The body goes in between non-REM sleep and REM sleep at an average of 90 minutes for a good night's sleep of 4 to 6 times. So it fades in and out in that cycle for 90 minutes, back and forth, 4 to 6 times in order to get that full 8 hours worth of sleep. Now, medication fights against your own system. So things like melatonin actually decrease your body's ability to actually have the source of sleep or insomnia problems. So what that means is the fact that it reduces your actual ability to make its own melatonin. So melatonin itself helps you get to the point of where your body gets to that sleep and makes it through serotonin and tryptophan. You've heard of that with the turkey? Yep, okay. It actually helps you get to that point of where your body is able to get to the point of sleep. It actually, melatonin helps you arrive there. It's actually decreasing your own natural ability to make it yourself, which at the end of the day is going to cost you going back to those hormonal imbalances. So the big picture at the end of the day is GABA. Have you ever heard of GABA before? Okay, you've heard of gabapentin, right? GABA amino butyric acid, okay? The most important inhibitory transmitter in the brain. What it does, all right? Produces the calming and relaxing sensation in the brain. It acts like the brakes in a car, which slows your body down. It is very, very, very important, okay? Having to have that GABA in there slows things down. It's an inhibitor in your neurological system to stop the process of stress, of everything going on, slows the body down. One of the major roles of GABA is to balance the excess excitation, all right? Try and get that one out. It keeps it in check, all right? It's the balance between it all. It's the guard that sits at the door for you that allows you not to get too excited, but not less than excited, all right? So why is it so important? Symptoms of it: trouble relaxing or loosening up, wake up with low energy, chronically fatigued, racing thoughts that keep your mind awake at night, heart palpitations, anxiety, easily agitated, cold hands and feet, irritable bowel syndrome. If I told you to look at these first ones just here, if you had to sum it up in one word, what would it be? You got it again, all right? It's that keyword stress, okay? You are. You're like butter, baby. You're on a roll. The trouble relaxing and loosening up is a big one for it, okay? It's the first one people go to, okay? If you were to really sum this up like you said before, it's the fact of saying, okay, why do you look so stressed? What's going on? Well, it's because your GABA is so low. If that's the thing that's stopping the excitation of your body, it is low. It's not doing its job. It needs to slow your body down. It needs to calm it down from the day-to-day effort. All these things that are happening in regards to it, which is causing your body to exert all that energy, and then for it needing to slow down to repair and replace it. All right. So it all comes down to this guy, okay? Remember I told you about that checks and balances, right? So you had the caffeination and the medication, right? We're going to get to the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Here's the highest of highs, all right? Have you ever heard of this term before? Fight or flight, okay? Everybody has. That's when I sit there and I say, release the grizzly bear, and we let the grizzly bear run out of the room right now, okay? What happens then? Our body freezes. It goes into a fight or flight stage, or what we call neurologically sympathetic nervous system. All right, what that is telling us is the fact that we need to run or fight. All right, we need to engage. What does that actually refer to? It's a natural state of when there is acute stress and a danger or threat. Releases hormones to target the big muscles, the big glands, the big important organs that we're going to need in order for when things get stressful. If functions that are not essential, shut down. You're not going to need your immune system. You're not going to need your sexual reproductive organs to be firing. You're not going to need some of those other ones that are going to go into the smaller muscles. So it allows a body to sort of have that gauge of what's going on. When your body goes through a number of changes when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, your heart rate increases, bronchial tubes increase because you have to run, your pupils dilate, your muscles contract. It goes to the big ones, obviously, quads, glutes, all that sort of stuff. Your saliva is reduced. So it shuts down all the non-essential organs, all right? Stomach stops digesting food. I don't know why we need to digest food if we're running from the grizzly bear next door. Right. Here's the opposite. So everyone's heard of fight or flight. Have you heard of rest and digest? Okay. This is the opposite. So we had the caffeination, the highest of highs, the fight or flight. Now if we compare it to the medication, the rest and digest, the lowest of lows. All right. This is how, sorry? You got it, nearly to it, okay? We need this. This is another thing. We cannot always be up here. We have to have something to check and balance it, just like the fact of what we were saying before. The rest and digest, it's a controlling system, all right? What happens is it restores the body to a sense of calm, allows it to relax, allows it to repair. If we maintain this over a long time, we improve digestion, conserve health, and allow our body's ability to balance the systems. What happens as we go through it, as you can see, it's the opposite of it. Increases the saliva, digestive enzymes are released, your heart rate drops, the bronchial tubes also constrict, your muscles relax. This is what we want to see when we sleep. If you think about it, if we're going to be going to that stress state when we're asleep, it's all because of the low GABA, and it's all because of the fact of what's going on during the day, and it's all because of the insomnia that we've got going on. So we need this system to work in order to get there. So also your pupils constrict, urinary output increases. So the problem today, I think you can get to it. People are constantly stressed because you said it right from the top. The fact that we're so stressed out that we cannot deal with what's going on. The stress of what's going on in the 6 o'clock news, the stress that's going on in Washington, D.C., let alone, yep, there you go. Now, there's always bad news at 6 o'clock is what my grandparents always used to tell me. Yep. So the fact of what's going on is that we're so stressed out, not just because of what's outside, but also inside. In our own lives, our family, our friends, our own thoughts, the foods we're putting in our system, we're stressed out, right? So we're always in that fight or flight mode, keeping GABA low, the brain hyperexcited, and your rest and digest can't kick in. That is what's causing that insomnia, those sleeping disorders, that 30% of the population being so tired. Because we are always up here and we're never back down here. We need the balance, the teeter-totter. We call it a seesaw back home. Yeah. All right. So what we're looking at, you cannot live in both places at once. You have to have a balance. There you go. When you're always in a state of fight or flight or defense mode, you're not living in a state of health, healing, and adaptability. That's a big part that I want us to take in. When you're always in a state of fight or flight or defense mode, you're not living in a state of health, healing, and adaptability. What that's telling me is the fact that if you're always in defense, you can never be on the attack. Now, I'm not a military general or anything like that, but if you're on the back foot a lot, how can you ever go forward? How can you ever win the war at the end of the day? It's not a war that we're trying to fight. We're just trying to find balance in our lives. So it's almost like driving with the handbrake on. You just can't do it, all right? So how do we help it? Spine health, all right? How does that work? We need to be checked for subluxations and misalignments. The reason why, C1 or the atlas subluxation puts pressure on the brainstem, okay? This first bone in our neck just up here. Why that happens is because it directly affects the GABA production. GABA production is done in the brain, obviously. It's going to be transmitted down through the spine, or the spinal cord, sorry, out through the spinal nerve. Protecting that is the spine. If there is that misalignment sitting at that C1 area, that first bone, it's putting pressure upon it, meaning the fact that GABA production can't be there. Take, for example, right? If I'm going to take my water bottle just here, and if it was able to bend, if I'm drinking through it, in regards to it, water's coming up. Now, take a bendable straw and put a knot in it and try and suck it up that way. How well is that water coming up? Not very. It's the same in regard to what's happening in regards to if there's a subluxation or a misalignment happening in that first bone. Water won't come up, okay, GABA production is going to decrease down. That being the case, it's causing chronic stress and adrenal fatigue. Hormone imbalances, constant stress, sympathetic always firing, parasympathetic never firing, like driving with the handbrake on. Got to find that balance, all right? So getting your spine adjusted and checked for those misalignments is huge. We also see it in regards to curvature loss. So in regards to when we look at our X-rays of our lateral image of the neck, we want to see that nice reverse C-shaped curve. What happens is the fact that we want to see that 60-degree curve with zero forward head posture. Check yourself out in the mirror next time. If you're standing there like this, right, looking directly from the side, and here's the mirror from here, you can see how many people have forward head positioning, all right? 1 inch moving forward, yeah, texting doesn't help with that. 1 inch moving forward puts 10 pounds of direct pressure of gravity upon that neck, all right? That's going to cause loss of curvature, which again relates back to the fact of losing that curvature, allowing that subluxation to arrive, putting pressure on the brainstem, decreasing GABA, and then causing that constant stress or that chronic stress and adrenal fatigue. It's all relating to itself. All right. What we're going to try and do is deal with stress management. So spine health is one. All right. Stress management is another. Meditation is a big one. Deep breathing exercises. Practicing a relaxing bedtime routine, complete with an activity that's away from bright lights that helps you relax and decreases the stress and anxiety. Chances are we don't put our phones away too much these days, right? We need to be able to do that, okay? We need to be able to put our phones away so that we're able to take away ourselves from that. Now, when I say the fact that deep breathing exercises, what's really cool about our office is the fact that Amanda downstairs is actually certified in yoga and breathing exercises. So she's actually created a little video for me. So, pardon me real quick. Just going to turn this up. First, we want to notice our breath. A lot of times our breath is passive, it's involuntary, it kind of just happens, right? So a lot of times it's probably pretty shallow. You want to kind of just control it. So you're going to just close your eyes. All right. But I want you to close your eyes and just kind of notice your breath. What happens? And as you do, you just kind of start to control it. Your inhales are coming in through your nose. Your exhales are going out to kind of 6 through your mouth. As you do this, you're kind of energizing with the inhale. As you exhale, you're taking that longer exhale to that kind of 6. You're kind of just softening. You're melting into your chair. If you're laying down, you're melting into the mat or the floor, wherever you are. So as you're doing that, you're kind of softening. You're kind of your eyebrows, things that you don't really feel like that you're doing. Lowering the shoulders away from your ears, you're kind of just melting. So as you do, you'll kind of slow your heart rate down. You'll feel that kind of grounding, that coming back to yourself, right? So you can use this. You can also use legs up the wall, which is just a yoga pose for relaxing. So it's kind of an inversion, or it is an inversion, I should say. Your legs are up the wall, so you kind of just lay on your back and you kind of scoot towards the wall. You don't have to have yourself butted up right to the wall. You're just right there at the wall. And your legs are kind of slanted up against it. So as you do this, you can put a pillow under your hips if you like. And then you just can kind of do that same breathing. 5 and out for 6. Round in. So that's just how you use your breath. You can also do yoga. Highly recommend that. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. But otherwise, just use your breath So banging on right there, okay? The fact that we're using our breath, something that we do on a daily basis. I mean, as you just said, if you're sitting here just like thinking about it, breath in, breath out, something that we do on a day-to-day basis is something that we can do if we just take a little bit of time to de-stress as we go forward.
The legs up, is that to help with blood flow?
Blood flow, yeah, that's a big one. Blood flow, grounding, which we're saying. The fact that when we breathe in, it's something that when we breathe out, obviously let ourselves melt into the ground. It's the sort of grounding technique of yoga and deep breathing exercises to let them in. But yes, legs up, draining the fact of the blood, allowing your body to sort of decompress back down towards the source of everything, which is the heart. So what to eat is a big one, all right? So we want to try and help in regards to what's going on. So as we can see here, GABA brainwaves, they reduce the stress and anxiety, they boost calm and creativity. What sort of foods help that? Well, spinach, less caffeine, sweet potatoes, brown rice, spinach. I'm not a nutritionist, all right? But the big thing to take away is the fact of how we can try and do that. We want to boost some levels in regards to it. So we want to try and get omega-3s in us, all right? They help prevent surges in stress hormone, try and keep it down. Salmon, sweet potatoes, things like that. Leafy green vegetables full of magnesium can counter stress by boosting the immune system, lowering blood pressure. Also adding to it is making sure that comfort foods for satisfaction. Now we've all gone to the ice cream shop and when we're stressed out and gone to the chocolates and everything like that. It's not the best thing as we go forward. So exercise and sunlight boosting endorphins, all right? So vitamin D helps boost the immune system, decrease the stress in the nervous system. It can be as simple as just walking. It can be as simple as just getting a walk outside, standing outside, doing breathing exercises outside. What's going to help is reduce insomnia, stress, anxiety, depression, OCD. Studies-wise has shown that in regards to how it's been helped in regards to it. So allowing your body to sort of de-stress through natural sunlight. And then also it can be as simple as a walk around a block. All right. Some questions to ask yourself, and something that we always ask: can your stress simmer and build without even knowing it? Yeah, bang on. Do you need some sort of alarm or trigger to notice the stress coming on? No, don't need it, but it's there, right? Okay. What if we could find out ahead of time and beat insomnia to the punch? Yeah, okay. What if I told you the answer is yes to everything? Yes, it can turn mental to physical and physical to mental. That's when insomnia is. It's a physical alarm to tell you about that your body is stressed. But lastly, yes, we can. All right. That's what's cool about our office is the fact that how we're able to track what's going on in your body, how well you're dealing with stress. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of that. All right. So here is a patient of mine. She's 38. She had tension headaches, sleep disruption, energy fatigue. We've had her under care for 6 weeks. So as you can see, she's had improved sleep, her range of motion's increased, her pain relief has happened, and she's got improved quality of life to 100%. What that's also means is our scans, okay? What you're looking at here is 2 scans. It's using surface EMG. So we're using the ability to look at the tone of muscle and how the body has been affected by it. When she first came in, we're looking over here, you can see how much stress her body is actually under with these red bars just here, okay? That show me how much muscle tone has been engaged. It's really happening upstairs and then downstairs too, because that's where your parasympathetic is, is where your sympathetic nervous system is sitting, all right? Getting those things working. Here we're seeing that decrease in regards to it after 6 weeks. So yes, we're taking it from an 83 to 86. That's awesome. But the fact that you can see the fact that it's reduced from the significant colors to the mild. Then we go here. We're looking at it in regards to the surface EMG. Again, you're seeing the difference. 37 down here. We're looking at 79 up here. We're looking in regards to temperature here, okay? How much temperature has been occurred. When there's those subluxations at those certain areas of the spine, it can cause the temperature to decrease because there's pressure on the nervous system not allowing proper blood flow to the area. As you can see, the fact that we're sitting here where it's highly engaged, it's reduced down here from 37 to 79 after 6 weeks, which is really cool to see. So the big takeaway at the end of the day is to activate your power, all right? One of the cool things I like to say is you can go a month without food, you can go days without water, you can go a minute without air, but you can't go 1 second without your nervous supply. So the big takeaways at the end of the night is the fact of what having with your nervous system can overall impact how you're sleeping, can overall deal with your stress.